Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers and collectors. In today's fascinating video, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting coins from the mid-20th century, the 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin from the United States of America. This coin is more than just a piece of metal. It's a reflection of a historic time, a piece of American craftsmanship, and for some lucky collectors, a small treasure worth thousands of dollars. So, if you've got some old nickels lying around, you might want to grab a magnifying glass, because one of them could be worth a lot more than just 5 cents. Let's start this exciting journey by taking you back to the early 1960s, a time when the United States was undergoing great change. The year 1964 was especially memorable in American history. It was the year the country was mourning the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the Civil Rights Act was passed, and the nation was stepping into a new era of modern progress and social reform. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was facing massive public demand for coins due to the rapidly growing economy. And among the coins produced that year, the humble Jefferson nickel became one of the most heavily minted and widely circulated coins in American history. Now, the Jefferson nickel series began way back in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The new design was created to honor the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, a founding father known for his vision, intellect, and leadership. The artist behind this masterpiece was Felix Schlag, a talented sculptor whose design would go on to become one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. Mint history. His design featured a left-facing portrait of Jefferson on the obverse or front side of the coin, and on the reverse, a beautiful image of Monticello, Jefferson's famous home in Virginia. By the time we reached 1964, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for over 25 years. However, what makes the 1964 edition stand out is its historical significance and the massive mintage numbers produced that year. The U.S. Mint struck over 1.5 billion nickels in 1964 alone, split between two facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while those from Denver can be identified by the small D mark on the reverse, to the right of Monticello. But why did the Mint produce such an enormous quantity of nickels that year? The answer lies in the coin shortage crisis of the early 1960s. People were hoarding coins for their metal content and potential collector value, leading to a national shortage of change. To counter this, the Mint drastically increased production. The 1964 Jefferson nickel became a cornerstone in that effort, symbolizing the Mint's attempt to stabilize circulation. Now let's take a closer look at the design of this classic coin. On the obverse side, Jefferson's profile faces left, with the word Liberty, and the year 1964 inscribed along the right rim. The motto "In God We Trust" curves gracefully along the left side. The reverse of the coin displays the elegant Monticello, Jefferson's estate, with the words Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America, inscribed below it. Above Monticello we see the phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a reflection of the unity that defines the nation. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was struck using a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a combination that gave it its distinctive silver-gray color and durability. Each coin weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter. Although these details may sound technical, they represent a part of what gives this coin its unique place in numismatic history. Now, here's where things start to get really interesting. Even though billions of these nickels were produced, not all 1964 Jefferson nickels are equal in value. For most circulated coins, the ones you find in your pocket change, their value is usually just 5 cents. However, if you happen to find a well-preserved or error coin from that year, the value can skyrocket dramatically. One of the most notable features collectors look for in the 1964 Jefferson nickel is the quality of the strike. The Mint was producing coins so rapidly that many of them came out with weak details, particularly on Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello. A coin that shows all 6 steps of Monticello clearly defined on the reverse is considered a full step specimen, and those are highly prized among collectors. Finding a 1964 Jefferson nickel with full steps is rare, and the higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC assign these coins numerical grades from 1 to 70, with anything above MS 65 being considered in near-perfect condition. In recent years, several 1964 Jefferson nickels graded MS-67 or higher with full steps have fetched incredible prices at auctions. Another aspect that adds to the intrigue of the 1964 nickel is the presence of mint errors. During the massive coin production rush, various minting mistakes occurred, and those errors now make certain coins extremely valuable. Some known errors include double die strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. One famous example is the 1964 nickel struck on a silver dime planchet, an extraordinary mint error that collectors dream of finding. Others feature repunched mint marks, where the D was accidentally stamped twice, creating a shadow-like effect. Each of these varieties can increase the coin's value significantly, depending on rarity and condition. But even without errors, some high-grade examples of the 1964 Jefferson nickel are incredibly valuable because of their condition and rarity in pristine form. When you combine excellent preservation, sharp details, and full steps, you're looking at a coin that can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. The 1964 Jefferson nickel also marks a transition point in U.S. coinage history. It was the last year that mint marks were used until 1968. This change was made to discourage hoarding during the coin shortage crisis. So for 4 years after 1964, the mint temporarily removed mint marks from all U.S. coins. This detail adds historical weight to the 1964 issue, making it even more desirable to collectors who value its role in the story of American money. Beyond its financial worth, the 1964 Jefferson nickel holds deep cultural and sentimental value. It's a reminder of an era when coins weren't just tools for spending, but miniature works of art and history. Many people who grew up in the 1960s remember carrying these nickels in their pockets or saving them in jars, unaware that one day, a few of them would become rare treasures, as collectors know. The beauty of coin collecting lies in discovery, the thrill of finding something ordinary that turns out to be extraordinary. The 1964 Jefferson nickel embodies that spirit perfectly. It's a coin that tells a story of American resilience, creativity, and craftsmanship. Now let's talk about the market side of things. Over the decades, the Jefferson Nickel series has remained one of the most affordable ways for new collectors to enter the world of numismatics. But within that affordability lies hidden gems, coins that stand out for their flawless strikes, unique mint errors, or historic rarity. In recent coin auctions, high-grade 1964 Jefferson nickels have attracted strong demand from serious collectors. The combination of historical importance, mint variations, and condition makes this coin a hot topic in the collector community. If you own one in superb condition, especially with full steps, it could be worth far more than you imagine. For example, collectors have paid thousands of dollars for MS-67 or MS-68 full steps examples certified by top grading companies. And certain rare errors from that year have fetched even higher prices. This is a clear sign that even coins from common years can carry extraordinary value if preserved carefully and graded professionally. If you're wondering how to identify whether your 1964 Jefferson nickel might be valuable, here are a few quick tips. First, check the condition. If the coin looks nearly new with a sharp strike, it could already have collector appeal. Second, look closely at Monticello's steps on the reverse. If you can see all 6 lines clearly, it's a potential full step specimen. And third, inspect the coin under magnification for any doubling, unusual marks, or minting errors. If your coin meets these conditions, it might be worth sending to a grading service for professional evaluation. The difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth thousands often comes down to expert certification. For many collectors, finding a 1964 Jefferson nickel in mint state condition is like uncovering a small piece of hidden history, a tiny metallic time capsule that survived 6 decades untouched. Every nick, shine, and detail tells a part of America's story. As we look back at the long and enduring legacy of the Jefferson nickel, it's clear that this coin is more than just currency. It's a connection to American ideals of liberty, progress, and perseverance. The 1964 edition, in particular, stands out as both a product of its time and a timeless collectible that continues to intrigue and inspire coin enthusiasts worldwide. We're diving deep into a fascinating piece of American coinage, the United States of America 1995 D Mint, Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin. This small but mighty coin holds a big story, from its rich history to its hidden value that might just surprise you. Whether you're a passionate numismatist, a casual collector, or someone who just stumbled upon an old nickel and wondered if it's worth anything, you're in the right place. So sit back and get ready to explore everything there is to know about the 1995 Jefferson Nickel, from how it came to be, the details that make it special, and why certain rare examples can fetch thousands of dollars in today's coin market. Let's begin with the background story. The Jefferson Nickel series started all the way back in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel that had been in circulation since 1913. The United States Mint wanted a new design to honor one of America's founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. The winning design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose elegant profile of Jefferson on the obverse and the image of Jefferson's home Monticello on the reverse became an American classic. Fast forward to 1995. By this time, the Jefferson nickel had been in continuous production for over half a century. It had become one of the most familiar coins in every American's pocket change. The Denver Mint, identified by its D Mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of these coins. But as with all minting processes, not every coin comes out exactly the same. Slight differences, small minting errors, and unusual varieties have turned ordinary-looking 1995 Jefferson nickels into coins worth far more than 5 cents. Now let's talk about what makes the 1995 nickel visually distinct and artistically appealing. The obverse side, or front, features the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. His sharp features, wavy hair, and thoughtful expression are finely detailed, though coins that have been in circulation for decades may show signs of wear. Around his portrait, the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear, with the date 1995 placed near the right side of Jefferson's collar. Just below that date sits the small D Mint mark, the tiny but important letter that tells us this coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado. On the reverse side, the famous image of Monticello stands proudly, Jefferson's beloved estate in Virginia. The design shows the neoclassical architecture with the inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum" on top, Monticello below the dome, and 5 cents and United States of America at the bottom. The coin has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and weighs 5 grams, made primarily from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. While these may seem like standard details, what really sets the 1995 Jefferson nickel apart are the special varieties, minting errors, and conditions that drastically influence its value. The Denver Mint in 1995 produced an enormous quantity of Jefferson nickels, over 570 million coins. But here's where things get interesting. Even with such high production numbers, a small percentage of coins emerged with striking errors, double dies, or unique die cracks that made them exceptionally valuable. One of the most sought-after varieties in the 1995 D series is the double die obverse. On these rare coins, certain inscriptions, especially the word "Liberty" or the date 1995, may appear slightly doubled when examined closely. This doubling occurred when the die used to strike the coin was improperly aligned during the minting process, causing a slight duplication effect. Though very subtle, collectors pay a premium for these coins because each one is unique in appearance. Another type of rarity includes die cracks, thin raised lines running across the coin where the die itself cracked during striking. Depending on the location and severity, these cracks can make the coin quite collectible. A major die crack that passes through Jefferson's face or across Monticello's dome could increase the coin's desirability significantly. But by far, the most valuable 1995 Jefferson nickels are those in pristine, uncirculated condition, the ones that were never used in everyday transactions. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as mint state 67 or higher can fetch high prices in the numismatic market because of their rarity and near-perfect preservation. Condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. A 1995 nickel that's been in circulation for years, with scratches, dull surfaces, or worn details, might still only be worth face value 5 cents. But if you happen to have one that has been stored safely, shows a full strike with sharp details, and retains its original luster, that coin could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to describe a coin's condition. Anything above mint state 65 is considered high quality. Coins at mint state 67 or higher are considered exceptional and are highly sought after. The luster, color, and overall sharpness of the strike all play key roles in determining value. Let's look at some of the fascinating errors found in the 1995 Jefferson Nickel series. There are off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned during minting. There are broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal rim. There are also clipped planchets, coins that are missing small crescent-shaped sections because of mistakes in cutting out the blanks. Some nickels show what collectors call a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally struck each other without a coin in between, transferring faint design elements from one side to the other. These errors are visual wonders for collectors because they showcase the mechanical side of coin production, and they're rare enough to make a normal 5-cent piece worth a significant amount of money. For instance, a 1995 Jefferson nickel with a dramatic off-center strike or strong doubling can easily sell for hundreds of dollars. Combine that with a top-grade condition, and the price goes even higher. In recent years, collector interest in modern Jefferson nickels has been steadily increasing. What once was overlooked as a common coin is now being appreciated for its history, design, and the excitement of finding hidden varieties. The internet and coin auctions have played a major role in boosting awareness and driving demand. Online platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections have showcased several 1995 Jefferson nickels selling for impressive prices when they feature special qualities. Coin collecting is not just a hobby anymore. It's also an investment opportunity. Every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1995 nickel connects everyday Americans to the artistry of minting and the legacy of Thomas Jefferson himself. Beyond the dollar amount, the 1995 Jefferson nickel represents a piece of America's cultural heritage. It captures both historical reverence and industrial precision. Every time you hold a Jefferson nickel, you're touching more than metal. You're holding a symbol of America's democracy, leadership, and endurance. The Jefferson nickel has survived through wars, recessions, and economic transformations. In 1995, the U.S. economy was thriving, and yet the mint continued producing billions of coins to meet national demand. Every single coin that rolled out of Denver carried the craftsmanship and pride of the U.S. Mint's long-standing tradition. If you ever get a chance to visit the Denver Mint, you'll see firsthand the incredible machinery, precision, and human skill that goes into making coins like the 1995 Jefferson nickel. Each die is meticulously engraved, each blank carefully prepared, and each strike executed with perfection, though not always flawless, which is exactly what makes certain nickels so special to date. So how can you find valuable 1995 Jefferson nickels? Start by checking your pocket change or old jars of coins lying around your home. You might be surprised at what you find. Next, inspect the coins carefully under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look closely for doubling on the date, the letters, or any unusual patterns. If you believe you've found something special, consider having your coin graded by a reputable coin grading company like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. A certified grade not only confirms authenticity but also boosts the market value of your coin. Lastly, store your coins properly. Use acid-free holders or airtight capsules to prevent tarnish or scratches. Keeping your coins safe and untarnished ensures they maintain their beauty and potential value over time. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of Jefferson nickels, one of America's most iconic coins. In particular, we'll be exploring the 1998 P-Mint Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin. This small yet historic coin holds more value than you might imagine. It's not just pocket change for collectors, it's a symbol of craftsmanship, history, and hidden fortune. So, if you've ever wondered whether that 1998 nickel sitting in your change jar could be worth real money, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin special, what errors to look for, and how one of these nickels reached an unbelievable price in today's coin market. Let's start by taking a step back into history. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The coin was designed by Felix Schlag, whose artwork was selected in a national competition. His portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, has become a staple of American coinage. On the obverse, we see Jefferson's profile facing left, while on the reverse is his magnificent home, Monticello. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has undergone subtle changes, but the essence of Schlag's design has remained, a true tribute to one of the founding fathers of the nation. Now, fast forward to 1998. This year was part of an important transitional period for the U.S. Mint, leading up to the new millennium. Coins minted in 1998 were struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, with the P-Mint mark, Denver, D-Mint mark, and San Francisco, S-Mint mark for proof coins. The 1998 P. Jefferson nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint in huge numbers, with hundreds of millions entering circulation. But as coin collectors know, even among millions, a few rare gems can hide. And that's exactly what makes this coin fascinating. When it comes to the 1998 P. Jefferson nickel, most examples found in pocket change are worth face value. But there's more to the story. Not all nickels are created equal. Certain minting errors, high-grade examples, and uncirculated conditions can turn an ordinary nickel into a highly desirable collectible. The secret lies in the details: the shine, the sharpness of the strike, the lack of wear, and of course, the presence of rare minting errors. To understand its true potential, let's first talk about how the condition of a coin dramatically affects its value. In the world of numismatics, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect specimen known as mint state 70. A coin in this condition shows no marks, no wear, and has full original luster. Essentially, it looks like it just rolled out of the mint. Most circulated 1998 P nickels fall somewhere between grades 10 to 40. They've been used, handled, and show signs of wear. These are typically worth their face value 5 cents. But as we move into higher grades, mint state 65, 66 or higher, things begin to change rapidly. In mint state condition, a 1998 P Jefferson nickel can be worth several dollars. But when it reaches near perfection, the value skyrockets. Collectors and investors are willing to pay impressive sums for coins with flawless surfaces, full steps on the Monticello, and strong details in Jefferson's hair and face. The full steps designation is particularly important. It refers to the steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. If all 6 steps are fully visible and unbroken, the coin is given a full steps label, a feature that significantly boosts its value. Now let's dive into what really makes the 1998 P nickel stand out: minting errors and varieties. The U.S. Mint, despite its precision, occasionally produces coins with small mistakes that escape quality control. These mistakes, known as mint errors, can make a coin far more valuable than its normal counterparts. Some of the most sought-after 1998 P nickels feature errors like double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and clash dies. The double die error, for instance, occurs when the coin's design is accidentally struck twice, causing a noticeable doubling in the letters or details. On a 1998 P nickel, this might appear as a faint shadow or duplicate outline around Jefferson's eye. The words "In God We Trust" or Monticello. These kinds of errors are rare and collectible, and depending on their clarity, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another intriguing variety is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned during minting. The result is a coin that looks slightly off balance, part of the design missing, while a blank crescent of metal remains visible. The more off-center the strike, without losing the date or mint mark, the higher the value. A dramatic 50% off-center 1998 P nickel can fetch significant attention at auctions. Die cracks are also common on Jefferson nickels, and while minor cracks don't add much value, large and distinctive ones can turn a simple coin into a collectible curiosity. These cracks can appear as raised lines across Jefferson's face, the fields, or Monticello. Visual proof of the wear and tear that minting dies endure over time. Collectors love these errors with personality, as no two are exactly alike. Then there's the famous full steps variety we mentioned earlier. The 1998 P nickel with full steps can be a real treasure. Only a small fraction of nickels minted that year have clearly defined steps on Monticello due to weak strikes or worn dies. Finding one in perfect condition with full steps can be a rewarding discovery. Let's talk about the design for a moment. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson's portrait, a symbol of liberty, intellect, and leadership. You can see the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1998. On the reverse, we have the Grand Monticello, Jefferson's neoclassical mansion located in Charlottesville, Virginia. The inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum," Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America frame the architectural beauty. Every curve and line in this design tells a story of American history and artistic excellence. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for striking the 1998 P nickels, has a long tradition of producing high-quality coins. However, as with any mass production, variations occur. The difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth hundreds, or even thousands, lies in the quality of the strike and the coin's preservation. That's why collectors often hunt through rolls of nickels, searching for those elusive full steps examples or mint errors that could turn an everyday coin into a rare collectible. It's also interesting to note that 1998 nickels represent the final few years of the classic pre-2004 Jefferson design, before the U.S. Mint released a series of new reverse designs in honor of the Lewis and Clark Expedition and the Westward Journey series. That means the 1998 P nickel stands as one of the last to feature the original Monticello reverse, a detail that adds nostalgic and historical value for collectors. So, how do you know if your 1998 P nickel is worth something significant? First, check the condition. If it looks sharp, lustrous, and has minimal scratches, it might be worth grading. Next, examine the steps on Monticello. If you can count all 6 clearly, that's a very good sign. Finally, inspect for errors, doubling, cracks, off-center strikes, or anything unusual. If you find any of these, it's worth having your coin evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Graded coins not only preserve their condition but also certify authenticity, making them more appealing to serious collectors. High-grade examples with full steps often sell at coin shows and online auctions for impressive prices. While most 1998 P nickels in circulation are common, those rare high-quality examples are what collectors dream of finding. Now, here's where it gets truly exciting. In recent years, collectors and investors have started paying more attention to modern Jefferson nickels, especially those from the 1980s and 1990s in pristine condition. The demand for high-grade coins has driven up prices significantly. It's not just about ancient or silver coins anymore. Even relatively modern nickels can bring substantial returns if they're in exceptional shape. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, only to learn it's worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of coin collecting, turning everyday discoveries into treasures of history and value. The story of the 1998 P. Jefferson nickel teaches us that even small coins can hold great significance. Every coin is a piece of American history, carrying the legacy of leadership, design, and craftsmanship. From the artist Felix Schlag's original 1938 design to the millions minted in 1998, each nickel is a time capsule from the nation's past. Journey takes us into the world of the Jefferson 5-cent nickel, focusing on one very special issue, the 2003 Philadelphia Mint Jefferson nickel coin. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance, just another 5-cent piece you'd find in your pocket or coin jar, but trust me, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. The 2003 P. Jefferson nickel has an amazing story that connects American history, craftsmanship, design evolution, and even a hidden value that many collectors overlook. So grab your magnifying glass and settle in, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Let's start from the very beginning. The Jefferson nickel first entered circulation in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The United States Mint wanted to honor one of America's most important founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a visionary who helped shape the very core of the American spirit. The design chosen for the new coin was created by artist Felix Schlag, whose work has become an enduring symbol of American numismatic art. Fast forward to 2003, decades after the first Jefferson nickel rolled off the presses. By this time, the coin had already seen generations of circulation, millions of collectors, and even subtle design changes over the years. The 2003 P nickel marked one of the final years of the classic Jefferson design before the Mint launched the Westward Journey series in 2004, which commemorated the Lewis and Clark Expedition and temporarily replaced the traditional Monticello reverse. That makes the 2003 issue particularly special. It's one of the last classic Jefferson nickels struck before a major design transformation. Now let's talk about the details of the 2003 P nickel itself. The P Mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most significant mints in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has been striking coins since 1793, and in 2003 it produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels for circulation. However, not all nickels are created equal, and as collectors know, tiny differences in minting, condition, and errors can turn an ordinary 5-cent coin into a rare and valuable treasure. The obverse of the 2003 P. Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. You can see the word Liberty in Jefferson's own handwriting, along with the year 2003, and the motto "In God We Trust." The reverse side showcases the stately Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia home, with the inscriptions E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. The coin is made from a copper-nickel composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that distinct silver-gray color and durability. It weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, just like other nickels before and after it. Now you might be wondering, if so many of these coins were minted, how could one possibly be worth any real money? Well, here's where things get fascinating. Even though millions were produced, certain 2003 Jefferson nickels stand out for their pristine condition, striking quality, and sometimes rare minting errors. Collectors and grading experts pay close attention to every tiny detail on these coins. A slight doubling in the lettering, a misaligned die, a die crack, or even an unusually strong strike can all drastically raise the coin's value. For example, coins that are struck from new, freshly prepared dies can have sharper details and deeper luster. These are called full steps nickels. The term refers to the steps on Monticello. If you can clearly see all 6 steps without any interruptions or flattening, you've got something special. These full-step coins are highly sought after by collectors because they demonstrate the best possible strike quality. The 2003 Jefferson nickel with full steps designation can fetch impressive prices at auctions, especially when professionally graded by NGC or PCGS. While a circulated coin might only be worth face value, an uncirculated example in mint condition, especially one with full steps, can command premium prices. Let's also touch on error coins, because this is where the fun begins. Some 2003 Jefferson nickels were struck with noticeable die cracks, planchet flaws, or off-center strikes. Others show a double die obverse or reverse, where the details appear slightly doubled. These varieties can make the coin incredibly collectible. In fact, error collectors are always searching for unusual flaws like these, since they're rare and unique. No two are exactly the same. But what truly excites collectors about the 2003 Jefferson nickel isn't just its potential monetary value, it's the fact that it represents the end of an era. In 2004, the U.S. Mint completely redesigned the reverse to celebrate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, marking a historic departure from the Monticello design that had graced the coin for over 6 decades. That means the 2003 is the last regular issue of the traditional Jefferson design before the big change. For that reason alone, it holds special significance for numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. Now let's take a closer look at how the value of the 2003 nickel is determined. Coin value depends on several key factors: condition, rarity, demand, and error variety. Condition is king in the world of coin collecting. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A coin graded 1 is barely recognizable, while 70 represents a perfect, flawless coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 2003 nickel that has never been in circulation, showing sharp details and brilliant luster, can be worth far more than its face value. Next, rarity plays a major role. Even though the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins, not all have survived in top condition. Many were handled, spent, or damaged. Finding one in pristine, untouched condition can be surprisingly difficult. That scarcity drives up its collector value. Demand is another crucial factor. Jefferson nickels have a strong following among collectors. There are entire sets and albums devoted to them, covering every date, mint mark, and major variety. Because 2003 marks a transitional year before the design change, many collectors specifically seek out high-quality examples to complete their collections. And finally, we come to error varieties, the wild cards of the coin world. A 2003 nickel with an unusual error like a double die or off-center strike can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how dramatic and unique the error is. Imagine checking your change and finding a coin that looks just a little off. Maybe the Monticello appears slightly shifted, or the word Liberty looks doubled. That small difference could turn your 5-cent coin into a rare collectible worth hundreds. That's the thrill of coin hunting. You never know when you'll uncover hidden treasure in your pocket. Let's also appreciate the artistry of the Jefferson nickel. Felix Schlag's original 1938 design has stood the test of time. The portrait of Jefferson conveys dignity and wisdom, while Monticello symbolizes architectural elegance and American heritage. The 2003 version captures the final chapter of this classic design before modernization transformed the nickel forever. VY 2006. The mint introduced a new forward-facing Jefferson portrait designed by Jamie Franke. But for many collectors, the 2003p remains the last authentic glimpse of the vintage Jefferson look that had endured for over 65 years. Even though the coin's face value is only 5 cents, its historical and artistic value makes it far more special. Every coin tells a story about the people who designed it, the era it was struck in, and the hands that passed it along through daily life. The 2003p Jefferson nickel has witnessed the early 21st century, an age of change and innovation, while still carrying the legacy of America's third president. Now let's talk about market prices and collector value to date. In circulated condition, most 2003p Jefferson nickels are still worth 5 cents. However, in mint state, especially grades MS65 or higher, they can bring a much higher premium. Coins with full steps designation, high luster, and strong eye appeal can sell for impressive amounts at auction. Era varieties, as mentioned earlier, can boost the value even more. Coin collectors, dealers, and auction houses often look for these coins during estate sales or bulk purchases, hoping to find a hidden gem. Even a small roll of 2003p nickels might contain a rare high-grade piece that slipped through unnoticed. Today we're diving deep into one of the most underrated, yet incredible coins in modern numismatic history, the 2017 D. Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, just another nickel in your pocket change. But as we'll soon uncover, some of these coins hold secrets that could make them worth a small fortune to the right collector. So stay tuned till the very end because you won't believe how much one of these 2017 D nickels sold for. A value that will absolutely blow your mind. Let's begin our story by understanding where this coin comes from and why it's special. The 2017 D Jefferson nickel was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most active mints in the United States. The D mint mark, located just to the right of Jefferson's portrait, identifies coins struck in Denver. This mint produces hundreds of millions of coins each year, ensuring that everyday Americans have nickels for circulation, vending machines, and commerce. But even with that massive production, not all coins are created equal. Among millions, a few stand out due to minting errors, rare variations, or pristine uncirculated conditions, and that's exactly where our 2017 D nickel shines. The Jefferson nickel has been in continuous production since 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The design has seen several modifications over the decades, but it has always paid tribute to one of America's founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. The obverse side features a bust of Jefferson facing left, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 2017. The reverse side showcases his iconic home Monticello, along with the words "E Pluribus Unum," United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. Now here's where things get exciting. Most 2017 D nickels that you find in circulation today are worth their face value, just 5 cents. However, collectors are always on the hunt for coins that are far from ordinary. What transforms an everyday nickel into a valuable collectible is condition, rarity, and error features. Some of these coins leave the mint with double die errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks that make them one-of-a-kind pieces. Let's talk about condition first. The grading scale for coins ranges from poor all the way up to mint state, or MS70. A coin graded MS70 is considered perfect, with absolutely no flaws under magnification. If you find a 2017 D nickel in mint state condition with sharp details, a brilliant luster, and no scratches or contact marks, you could be holding something worth a lot more than a simple nickel. Then there are the errors. Minting errors are like nature's accidents. They happen rarely and unpredictably, making them extremely desirable to collectors. One of the most fascinating types of errors that can appear on 2017 D nickels includes the double die obverse, where Jefferson's image or the inscriptions appear slightly doubled. This occurs when the coin die shifts during the striking process, creating a ghosted or doubled appearance that's visible to the naked eye. Another intriguing variety is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin planchet isn't properly aligned with the die during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or misaligned. Depending on how off-center the strike is, the coin's value can skyrocket. Some 2017 D nickels with off-center errors have sold for hundreds of dollars, simply because they're rare and visually striking. Die cracks and cut errors are another category that collectors love. When a die used to strike coins develops a small crack, metal can flow into the gap, leaving raised lines or blobs on the finished coin. These imperfections are unique and often form fascinating patterns across the surface. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. There are also a few examples of 2017 D nickels struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on metal intended for another denomination. Imagine finding a nickel struck on a dime's smaller and lighter planchet. These rare mistakes have been known to fetch huge sums of money at coin auctions. Aside from errors, what truly adds value is the coin's preservation. If you have a 2017 D Jefferson nickel that has never been circulated, still shiny, lustrous, and free of marks, it could easily be worth several dollars or even more to a serious collector. Many people underestimate how valuable newer coins can be in pristine condition, but high-quality examples are becoming increasingly scarce as most coins get used, scratched, or tarnished over time. Let's also not forget about proof-like or satin finish coins. Although the Denver Mint primarily produced circulation strikes in 2017, some special strike coins with enhanced details have been found, showing a mirror-like finish that collectors crave. These coins can demand premium prices in the collector's market. Now, what makes the 2017 D nickel especially interesting is that it represents the continuation of the modern Jefferson design, which began in 2006. This version portrays Jefferson in a more lifelike, forward-facing pose, based on Rembrandt Peale's 1800 portrait. The design shift brought new interest to the series, and collectors began paying more attention to each year's production quality and possible varieties. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction were preserved in gem condition or featured unique errors. As a result, auction houses and online marketplaces like eBay have seen surprising results for certain examples of the 2017 D nickel. In coin collecting, rarity combined with visual appeal can push a coin's price to impressive heights. To give you a sense of perspective, imagine sorting through your spare change, pulling out a handful of nickels, and discovering one with a doubled inscription or a sharply struck, flawless surface. That simple find could transform into a treasure worth hundreds, or even thousands of times its face value. Stories like these aren't myths. Collectors have been uncovering valuable coins from ordinary circulation for decades. Let's take a quick detour into the fascinating history of Jefferson nickels as a whole. Since 1938, this 5-cent coin has seen several design changes, but the core message of honoring Thomas Jefferson's legacy has remained constant. From the early 1940s wartime silver nickels to the modern-day designs, each era tells a story of America's growth and innovation. During World War II, the composition of nickels temporarily changed to include silver, making those coins especially valuable today. Fast forward to 2017, and while the nickel returned to its traditional copper-nickel blend, collectors still treasure them for their unique charm and the occasional minting surprises. Every coin minted carries a story, a history of craftsmanship, precision, and sometimes imperfection. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing coins of excellent quality, but even in modern times, a few anomalies escape detection. These anomalies become treasures for sharp-eyed collectors. So, if you come across a 2017 D Jefferson nickel, don't dismiss it as just pocket change. Look closely at Jefferson's face, the inscriptions, and the building of Monticello on the reverse. Check for doubling, off-center features, cracks, or anything that seems unusual. Even a subtle variation can make a significant difference in value. Collectors also pay attention to luster, strike sharpness, and overall eye appeal. Coins stored in protective holders or rolls often retain their original brilliance, while those in circulation lose detail over time. If you have a nickel that still looks brand new, it might be time to have it graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified high-grade coin can sell for much more than an ungraded one. Now, why are people willing to pay so much for a modern nickel? It all comes down to scarcity, demand, and the thrill of discovery. When collectors realize how rare a specific era or high-grade coin is, they're willing to pay premium prices to add it to their collection. The 2017 D Jefferson nickel, while still modern, has already made its mark in coin auctions for its beautiful strikes and rare variants. There's something magical about holding a coin that carries both history and mystery. It connects you to the nation's past while offering the excitement of potential fortune. Coins like the 2017 D nickel remind us that valuable treasures aren't always ancient or gold-plated. Sometimes they're right in our wallets waiting to be recognized. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's part art, part history, and part adventure. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth far more than their face value. The next time you receive change from a store or bank, take a moment to check your nickels. That simple habit has led countless people to uncover hidden gems that changed their lives. Among all those millions of nickels minted in 2017 at the Denver Mint, one particular coin stood out, perfectly struck, preserved in near-flawless condition, and carrying that brilliant luster collectors adore. When it hit the auction block, it astonished even the experts with its incredible price. That stunning 2017 D. Jefferson 5-cent nickel coin sold for $17,260.